Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to Pesterquest. As we left off, we just made friends with the fuchsia blood heiress, and now we're going to be going on to cooking by the book, befriending Jane, which is sort of like the grandmother, if you remember Homestuck. So Homestuck, the Call of Leader Jane's thing, is mind control. Warning, of course. As a general rule, there's also adult language, violence, and innuendos, as I mentioned at the beginning. Now let's get into it, shall we? Volume 11, The Call of Leadership. Clear, beautiful moonlit night on Eteria. The sky is clear, a cool breeze is blowing, and even the unbearable screeching of the steel-throated bat crickets sounds a little sweeter than usual, and yet a moment of panic hangs in the air. Dave, are you okay? Hey! Oh god, what has she done? Dave? Please tell me that's your scrub sauce. Please be grub sauce, please just be grub sauce, please just be grub sauce. Kakarot, stop being so melodramatic. It wasn't even me who did it. Okay, fine, it was my fault, I admit it. But I made sure he was fine. Yeah, Kakarot. It's no biggie. I mean, this is obviously the shitty situation I could possibly be in right now, and my lawyers will be in touch. Don't even think that they won't. But also, it's literally fucking grab sauce, so like, chill for 2 seconds, okay? Okay, thank God. Like, I know the idea of me having to swap out my soiled ketchup encrusted pants is getting you all hot and bothered under that sweater, but damn. This is a picnic, dude. There are children present. And just like that, everything's okay. They have single-handedly revolutionized the art of picnicking on Eteria. They have a huge checkered blanket, a car-sized wicker hamper, an unholy quantity of food in Tupperware containers, a lively crowd of your best and most recently acquired friends. Everything one could possibly need. Shit. Quaint as fuck's out here. So, how many tentacles would you say she has, Fluffy? Let's see. Look, it's okay. Take your time. My interest is, purely scientific. Yes, precisely. Thank you, Kanya. This is part of my studies in the field of cryptozoology. It's harder than an exact science, but you can help us make it exacter. Well, that's the problem. I really don't think there's a definite answer. She just has so many. Yes. And they're both quiet. Fascinating. I got the innuendos in my mind. Everyone seems to be having a really great time. You're a pretty good picnic host, if you do say so yourself. So you let yourself lie back on the blanket and relax. Nepeta, can you please pass one of those beautiful green pies, please? Oh, sure, let me just... It's okay, I got this. Dude, step off, Lemo. You didn't ask for your help. Everyone's getting along so well. Well, I didn't ask for your opinion on whether the mid-blood human female wanted my help or not. Oh my god, did you seriously just call her that? What is wrong with you? Guys... Humans don't even have different blood colors, you useless tool. Simply gesturing one another's company. Alright, that does it. I've had enough of this wishy-washy lard meal nonsense. And I had enough of you. Oh, thanks, Nepeta. No problem, hee. Eat shit and die. Why don't you make me? Would be my pleasure. Wait, what's going on over there? Oh no, dear God, not now. This is a disaster. You've got to find some way to stop this before you've got everything you've worked up for collapse under the weight of pointless, shitty boy drama. You don't have a moment to lose. What's better than this? So I just realized, so there's purple, light purple, and then fuchsia. So that's, okay, so red, orange, yellow, olive, green, blue, the 3 different purples, and I guess indigo, and then mutants. You guys being alive? Oh, hey there, Gamesy. Don't mind you're just trying to stop a picnic emergency. Hey, hold on, sister. Let's not be hasty. Right now, we're witnessing the birth of the greatest and I dare say righteous miracle of them all. Gender motherfucking equality. And just like that, everything breaks apart. Alone. It's a cold, dark night on Ontario. The sky is overcast, a harsh wind is blowing. The only other sound to be heard is your own breathing. Panicked, shaky, you curl up a little tighter in your puddle of blankets in the corner. You try and think back to the wonderful dreams you were having, but now it all seems ruined. You're only trying to make a short rest from fomenting revolutionary sentiment among your peers and fixing all of their problems, which, as it turns out, is a full-time job. You just wanted to indulge your imagination for a while and skip to the part where everyone is happy already. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It all seems so real, so full of potential, like you could get there in an instant only if you tried a little harder. But now it hits you like a cold, wet circus pie filled with cement. Your dream of hope was nothing more accurate than that. With no basis in reality or cute characterization, some things are simply too good to be true, and your subconscious clearly knew that all along. It hurts, and you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just get really, really angry about it. You made some wonderful friends over the last few weeks, months. It's been such a hectic whirlwind of nonstop and miliki, you're not even sure how long you've been going. You've achieved so much on your quests, you know that for a fact. But now, looking around this empty room filled with the ghosts and memories of a lifetime ago, you can't help but feel despondent. Maybe there are some things you won't ever be able to fix. Man, this blows. For some reason, your thoughts turn to John. He was conspicuously absent from your dream. It feels like you haven't seen him in ages. You miss him. Without really thinking about it, you pick yourself up. You've had enough of this horrible planet for now. Your friends here will be alright without you for a while. You tell yourself that a few times, just to make sure you believe it, and then... zap! You materialize in a pleasantly familiar suburb and familiar house. It must be late fall by now. There are barely any leaves left on the trees, and there's a chill in the air. But your heart fills with the warmth at the prospect of hanging out with your old friend John again. While your newer powers have been fun to spend time with in their own ways, you can't help but feel a special kind of fondness for John. It's not like you play favorites with your chums or anything, but maybe the fact that he was your first friend you met on your journey sets him apart from the others. It's nice to be back on Earth, too. You miss being able to go out in the sunshine. Your eyes wander a little, taking in the trees, the grass, the houses, before settling on the mailbox in the yard. A worrying thought occurs to you. Maybe, in getting so caught up in meeting so many new people, John had forgotten all about you. Surely your friendship wouldn't have dismissed so quickly, which were you all really close to begin with? You still feel bad about having thrown his birthday present to Sue and all that time ago. That was just such a shitty thing to do in more ways than one. You're really a bad friend to John before you were friends with John. You're suddenly overcome with an urge to make it up to him. Instead of making a new friend today, why not trying to be a better friend to the one you already have? Taking inside a peek at the mailbox, there seems to be something inside. Maybe if you make absolutely sure to give it to him this time, that will start to make up for your earlier mistake. Steve. Who'll further post? Yeah, that's the next idea. John will be so happy that the mail came with no mishap, and so grateful that you, his trusted pal, were able to make it happen. Perhaps you can even pretend it was an apology gift you got him. No, you've gotten so good at being a friend by now, it's not even real. There's basically no way this plan can backfire. You reach in hand inside the mailbox to grab the package, and then everything goes dark. Backfired. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because booby traps, you consider. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Like, holy shit, that's bad. You take a moment to slap yourself in the face for a few minutes. Just rub it in. How could you be so stupid? That kind of depravity that leads one to desecrate the sanctity of a friend's mailbox is what got you into this mess in the first place. Oh, huh. Looks like the mailman forgot to put up the flappy wingy doodad, the bright red arm dealia on the side of the mailbox. You're quite certain that the thing is supposed to be up when there's mail to be received. No, I think it goes up when the mail is supposed to go out. Even an idiot could tell you that much, and you are a first-rate idiot. You carefully raise the little flag. Immediately, out of the corner of your eye, you spy movement in the upstairs window. It must be John, scoping out the mail again. Quick as a flash, you zap yourself out of sight and behind a nearby bush. A white cat is hanging out back here. It hisses at you, but you let a wave of cackling retcon energy dance around your palms, and the kitty vanishes. It literally just straight up disappears. That's okay, fine, whatever. It's the truth universally acknowledged that cats can do whatever the hell they want, except for taking this hiding spot, that is, which you have now commandeered in the name of friendship. Oh ho ho, this is a much better plan to surprise John. You can't believe he didn't think of it before. You know he loves pranks. What better prank than to be ambushed by a dear friend? I hope you still have his dear friend. You're still his dear friend. Oh god, you're getting nervous again. You hear the front door open. Shoot, here he comes. Hey, wait, this isn't John. Goodness no. Why, it appears to be some kind of famous detective individual. At least someone in a famous detective disguise. But what's moreover, you get this strange impression that the person underneath the disguise isn't John either. Whoever it is, they make a beeline for the mailbox. Oh shit, maybe you're watching another mailbox robbery in action. That would explain the need for the disguise, you guess? They reach out their hands. All of a sudden, several things rush to your mind unbidden. The smell of burning, a flash of light, pain. Without thinking, you spring into action. Woof! You grab the interloper and zap inside the house. You both materialize in midair and collapse in a heap of the floor. Outside, you hear the telltale sound of an exploding mailbox because, for some reason, you know what those sound like. Phew, that was a close one. That's the flower pattern that's always talked about. Oh lordy, that's smart. What? Oh god, this looks so weird. I don't think she would have buck teeth. This looks so weird. What on earth just happened? Your companion sits up a bit and on the daze. It looks like the disguise got knocked off in all the kerfuffle. Your hunch was right on the money. This is definitely not John Egbert. He does look oddly familiar, though. You take a look out the window, down to the yard below. Yep, just like Euros told you. Where once was a mailbox, there's now a smoldering wooden stump surrounded by debris. They slight to bring a tear to any mailman's eye, fake or otherwise. You turn back and she's holding something. You turn back around to find the stranger standing over you, looking thoroughly disgruntled. She's pointing a large red spoon. Okay, it's a spoon directly at you, directly at your chest. It doesn't really come off as all that threatening. You have to be honest, although she could probably do at least some sort of form of injury with it. The injury that likely wouldn't be all that serious, but you'd like to take it serious anyways. Just to be polite. Now hold on a moment, Buster? Who are you? What are you doing in my bedroom? And what in blue blazes is going on? Come on, spit it out. Oh no, you hate to be put on the spot. Your first question was a tough one. Who are you? It's something you don't have a definite answer to, even after all this time. Gosh, she does seem awfully confident with that spoon. You begin to entertain the thought that the girl might simply decide to beat you to death with it. You're finding it hard to think amid all the confusion. Didn't she say that this was her bedroom? You're dead certain that this was John's house. It is John's house. It even has a time swing and everything. This girl, who even is she? John's never mentioned having a sister or anything before, but looking around the room, it's obvious that she lives here, and there's no trace of any John's things. Did he move house without telling you? That thought makes you so impossibly sad. Well, if you won't talk, I suppose I'll have to suss out the truth myself. She looks at you very carefully for a moment before glancing over at one of the posters on the wall. It's a black and white picture of what looks like a daring group of detectives. They're drawn in a fairly minimal style with round over their heads. Immediately, her face lights up in recognition. Oh, I see. Oh, mum's the word. She taps the side of her nose acknowledgingly and winks. And you realize that she's trying to let you know that she knows something that you're supposedly both know, but all you really know is that you have no idea what it is. So, she taps the side of her nose, sort of like Sting the movie, which, highly good movie, would totally recommend if you've never seen it before. Oh, you're very good. Pretending not to know that which you know that I know that we both know. No, telling her, you haven't got the foggiest clue what she's talking about. Knowing stuff? How could anyone possibly accuse you of such a thing? Oh, it's alright, I won't tell anyone. Keeping incognito is the utmost importance for problem sleuths like us. Always a pleasure to meet a fellow fan. She seems to be under the impression that you're some sort of cosplayer? Either that or an undercover agent of some sort. Oh, what the hell, you might as well roll with it. This will be easier than pretending to be a postal worker at any rate. Hold on a moment. I just got the thing for a fellow gentle person of taste. She puts the spoon away for a moment, which is a relief, then rips out another copy of a poster and a pen out of nowhere and signs it. You've never met or heard of this girl before, and she's just straight up giving you an autograph. You take a look at the signature. Their name reads Jane Croker. Huh, you guess the girl's name is Jane then. Now that we got that out of the way. Nice, though it gets you to make your acquaintance. That doesn't explain what you're doing in my house, or come to think of it, how we even got here. Well, it's actually very simpler, actually. Just a boring everyday example of an innocent bystander stepping in to save an unwitting teen from a parcel bomb with their zappy hell treasure powers. Nothing weird at all. You zap around the room a bit, by way of demonstration, ending up back where you started. Transportalization technology. I knew various competitors of ours had been developing something like that for a while, but I had no idea that they were already doing field tests. I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. But a parcel bomb, you say? You just out of the window at a sad, obliterated remains of a mailbox. There's nothing that anyone could do to save it or its contents. Oh shoot, Jane wasn't expecting any extremely important deliveries, was she? Potentially in front of the slight, significant birthday gifts or a copy of mysterious computer game? I mean, the Shrub Alpha? I'm not surprised you heard about it. That isn't due for another week, though. Well, that's a relief then. No harm done. I want to go that far. Off and on, withstanding, the fact remains that someone tried to blow me up. Okay, so, some harm done. Gee, the nerve of some people. You cannot fathom who could possibly want to do such a thing, and especially to someone as harmless and personable as Jane here. Oh, come on. One doesn't like to state the obvious, but I guess if I had to guess, it's probably related to my being in line to inherit one of the largest corporations on the planet. Quacker Corp has its enemies. There's no question about that. Oh, of course. That's why your surname is so familiar. Jane is the new face of Betty Crocker's company. You don't know what you expected, considering what happened on her journey so far. You should have seen this one thing coming. Speaking of which, you wonder a lot if anything like this has ever happened before. The only thing that could make this any more surprising if Jane had been sent a similarly life-threatening cargo on any previous occasion. Oh yes, why we get mailed something similar just last week, in fact. You try not to think too hard about the fact that Jane apparently fell for the same exact trick 2 weeks in a row. Father was out in the yard, about to take his car out back for herself, when the blessed mailbox went up in smoke. It was quite a shock. Ever since then, he's been a bit angsty at me checking the mail myself, but today it arrived while he was out. Good thing, too. He would have thrown a fit if he'd known. Barely allowed out of the house as it is. I'm sure he means well, but it can come off as a bit of overprotective sometimes. It's plump ridiculous. A grown lass full of vim and vigor can perfectly good care of herself. You don't want to pass hasty judgment on someone's familiar situation, but it sounds like Jane's father is trying to keep her safe. Can't be easy, constantly deflecting death threats away from someone determined to walk right into them. Where's your sense of self-preservation? I suppose it might seem strange to the uninitiated, but you sort of learn to accept it after a while. I've been dodging death ever since I can remember. People seem really determined to do me in. Simply can't explain it. Jesus, wow, that must be pretty rough going. God, that sounds awful actually. Being the imminent ruler of an empire must come with a fair number of people who want you gone. Thinking back to your encounter with Pfeffrey, you'd suppose that you recently part with such an attempt yourself, in a manner of speaking. You decline to mention this to Jane, and being reminded of your time on Materia causes you to lapse to an uncomfortable silence. Jane looks around a little awkwardly before breaking it. So, now that I'm ungrateful for the fact that you appear to have rescued me from certain peril, but... Oh, right, of course, you're intruding in a complete stranger's home. You almost forgotten that this is the first time you and Jane have ever met. Your heart sinks as you consider that, between the vastness of the universe and the determination of those attempting to murder her, this might be the last time you ever meet her as well. Jane offers to show you out. On the way downstairs, you politely ask her how long it's been since her family moved here. Does she know if anyone called John used to live in this house? She gives you a strange look before gesturing to, "Oh God, is that a corpse by the fireplace?" You take a moment to process that the fact that Jane has a stuffed human person mounted on a pillow in her living room. She says it's her papa, which you guess means her grandfather. It's kind of hard to parse some of the vocabulary Jane uses sometimes. Anyways, the guy's name was John. You can't help but see a resemblance to your good friend Egbert. You announce that enough acquaintance by now to know that this must be him somehow. He must have traveled forward in time by accident, or some such. This is the only possible explanation. You try very hard not to have a whole mental breakdown about your apparently long-dead friend, but sadly not hard enough. However, at the sight of your various expressions of horror, shock, and confusion, Jane perks up considerably. Did you know my old papa? You should have said something. He is a popular fellow, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of the friends from his performing heydays came to visit. That's right, Jane. Keep talking about him and your friendship in the past tense. This is totally helping you feel better. By which you mean to say, yes, Jane, you're absolutely right. You're an old, entertaining friend of her papa's who just so happened to be visiting this area in the middle of circus touring season? You try not to be too insulted when Jane eats up the lie without a moment's hesitation. Well, I suppose if one of Papa's Crocker pals is here, I suppose I can't turn you out on the street like some nobody. And Papa would never forgive me for giving a family friend the cold shoulder. You must simply stay a little while longer, I insist. You cannot help but agree enthusiastically, and here you were thinking this volume was over before it really got started. Gee, this makes a nice change. You've grown accustomed to putting in a lot of hard work to score some hangout time with various people on your journey, but all it took to convince Jane a pre-established connection with her apparently very wealthy relatives. It just goes to show you stuff. I'm afraid I haven't fulfilled my duties as a host very well so far, but I'm determined to change that starting now. But what to do? You've been playing at the game of friendship long enough by now to sense an important decision approaching. You're taking quick inventory of Jane's important character details. I mean, interests and personality traits. She seems to have a passion for the lost art of sleuthing and famous detectives of years past, her imminent inheritance of a banking conglomerate, and existing spoon-wielding likely indicates that she knows her way around a cake or two as well. See? Why don't we practice some self-care? You know what? All this heavy stuff has really been getting to you recently. Christ, you left Altaria to get away from the hell-murdery nonsense. But if anything, it feels like just as stressful back here on Earth with Jane. The adrenaline rush of the impromptu rescue is beginning to wear off, and your legs start to go all wobbly. You slump down against the wall, exhausted. Man, this really takes a lot out of you. Oh, gracious, are you alright? Yeah, just, you need a minute. Oh, God, this is so weird and embarrassing. How come it's only once you were out of a bad situation that you stop being able to cope with it? You try to pull yourself together, but then your stomach growls like an aggressive, hungry cat. Come to think of it, you haven't eaten anything, if you don't even know how long. Jane gives you a sympathetic, almost grandmothery look. It sounds like someone's hungry. You know, I was planning on baking something after taking care of the mail, although I guess it took care of itself in the end. So since Plan A seems to have gone up in a pillar of smoke, let's move swiftly to Plan B. Fancy helping me whip up a cake into submission? We can call it a thank you for saving my bacon back there. Gosh, that sounds like a wonderful idea. You feel like you could eat a horse, or even better, a horse made out of cake. You can't remember the last time you had cake, in fact. Oh, now that isn't just the saddest thing I've ever heard. Oh, look at her little apron. Jane sets you up with an apron and starts pulling ingredients and utensils out of various cupboards and drawers. Seeing the various colorful bags and boxes all lined up in the kitchen counter fills you with excitement. It fills you with determination. The idea of collaborating with Jane to make something delicious gets your heart racing. Surely there could be no better path to friendship than this. Once she seems that she's got everything you need, Jane fiddles with the oven for a few seconds. Just need to set the pre-oven to preheat. There we go, now let's get cracking, shall we? You look around expectantly, hoping to see a recipe book or similar amid the collecting baking equipment. Oh no, we don't need one. My junior batter master bowl is Buster stirring solution 50,000 would do the trick just fine. A passionate burning fire seems to ignite in Jane's eyes as she brandishes her trusty red spoon. With a well-practiced motion, she adjusts a series of buttons and dials on the side, and vaguely feminine robot voice begins to speak out of it. Triple chocolate layer cake, medium rare, begin regimen? Jane nods to herself and presses another button. The voice begins listing off a series of ingredients and measurements. I guess this spoon must have a lot of more tricks up its sleeve than you originally gave it credit for. Technically, it really is amazing. You begin to reach for a bag of flour, but Lightning Speed leans over and grabs it herself. She doesn't even seem to notice she has to bat your hand out of the way. Oh well, that's alright. James seems to know what she's doing, and you hate to spoil her fun. In the blink of an eye, she has the flour measured out and reaches out for the butter. A pre-solidified bone of an extract. You will comply. Jane continues her work throughout an efficient manner, and the spoon continues reading out instructions in a calm, steady voice. It's somewhat soothing, even if the choice of vocabulary is a bit strange. It certainly seems to be relaxing Jane. Her face was a picture of intense concentration, but her eyes seemed to be dim and distant. She could almost be asleep. You almost just coming to terms with the idea that baking with Jane is a spectacular sport, rather than a team game, when suddenly a noise snaps her out of her trance. Oh! Her hand goes to her apron pocket, and she fishes out her phone. Something on the screen makes her face light up with a gentle excitement. She thinks you catch the sight of something green, but she doesn't give you a good look at it. I have to, take care of this? Ooh. Whatever it is, it seems to have gotten Jane into a bit of a tizzy, all of us. Oh, 'cause it's Jake! And she likes Jake. She throws a spoon in your direction. Here! Just follow the instructions, you can't go wrong. This is all happening so fast. Being entrusted with Jane's precious spoon, and so early on in your friendship? This must be a very great honor. She obviously believes you in a great deal. Try and assure Jane that you won't let her down, but she's already too engrossed in her phone to acknowledge it. You sigh to yourself knowingly. For all her anticipated phraseology and old-timey aesthetic, Jane is still Latina at heart. Add ingredients to vessel. Commence liquefaction. Obey. Wait, let me try that again. Add ingredients to vessel. Commence liquefaction. Liquidation. Obey. Oh shit, you were so caught up being judgmental of a young person that you completely lost track of what you're doing, which was, dissolve desiccated cocoa in boiling water. Submit to your labor. Hang on a moment. You just barely managed to remember what the previous instruction was before this moved on to the next step already. Oh god, what are the other ingredients you need to add? Try and guess, but there are too many things on the counter and you don't know what half of them even are. Spirit glanced at Jane, hoping that she noticed your plight, but she's far too distracted to help you right now. You just have to think you work it out by yourself. She's counting on you. Think, damn it, think. Fold a cocoa paste into mixture. Make haste, the end is nigh. Eggs, you don't remember doing anything with eggs, but this balloon definitely called for some a while ago. In a blind panic, you grab one and toss it into the bowl. Only after you stir it into the mixture do you remember that it's generally best to remove the shell first. Pour cream into small saucepan and heat over a low flame for a few minutes, ensuring that it does not boil or simmer. Once the cream is hot, remove the saucepan from heat. Cease reproduction. Calm robot voice isn't soothing to you. Not anymore. Its deluxe tone has become your tormentor. It wouldn't be so bad if it would slow down for a moment. Is there a speed setting on the spoon? You just had more time to think. Are you sure you'd like to start over? Arg, one bun. Can't go back, not now. Cancel the prompt and grit your teeth in determination. You can fix this. You have to fix this. It's like Jane said all those minutes ago when she set you on this quest. You can't go wrong. At this moment, your eyes lie on a bag of sugar. The noticed unopened bag of sugar, just sitting there, smirking at you, with a look of unbearable smugness to the colorful lettering on its face. Who, me? What could you possibly need me in a cake for? Tear open and dump the entire contents into a mixing bowl with an ice-cold fury. Then you toss its gutted, lifeless husks to garbage where it belongs. Revenge has never been sweeter. Oh lordy, sorry to leave me in the lurch for so long. I had to deal with a friend in a daily moment of personal crisis. Although it's not really saying much, quite frankly, most of his life seems to be one long personal crisis. I suppose I'm hardly in any position to complain. I do like his company at the end of the day. So there's the cake. How have you been managing? You don't look up at Jane when she comes over a few minutes later, seemingly oblivious to the devastation you brought on its poor kitchen. You stare down at the thick, lumpy batter sitting in the bowl in front of you, and in that subject curled mess you cannot help but see yourself a complete and utter failure. Is everything alright? I want to tell her to explain that, no, Jane, everything is not alright. It's all gone to shit, but you can't look anywhere except down. You feel like the bottom falling out of the friendship opportunity, like that of a poorly supported Victorian sponge. Once Jane gets a good look at the batter, it's game over, you just know it. As she peeks over your shoulder at your handiwork, embrace yourself for the dreadful moment you've felt so many times before, across countless Arterian selves and timelines. Watch for the telltale signs of a person deciding that whatever pathetic and somehow yet unspecified creature you are, they don't want you in their life. But strangely, the moment never comes. Instead, Jane puts a hand lightly on your shoulder and gives you a gentle smile of her full teeth. There, no need to put a face like that. So yes, this ended up a bit of a misadventure, but it's not the end of the world. But Jane was counting on you, and you let her down. You had to do something that needed to be fixed, and you couldn't manage it. As so many other occasions during your journey, you only made things worse. You tried to convince Jane of your guilt in this matter, but she simply shakes her head. Oh, pshaw, you did nothing of the sort. You tried to make the best of the bad and confusing ordeal. Nobody can blame you for that. Even if your best is admittedly a little suboptimal. But sometimes when things go wrong, it's not a simple case of being able to fix it by smothering it on blindly in the face of adversity. Sometimes the only way to set things right is to cut your losses and start over from the beginning. And that's not really the same as giving up. You try with all your might to swallow this good advice, and Jane is serving you, but you look on the face must not be all that convincing. Jane sighs. Look, I'm sorry for abandoning you in an unfamiliar situation. It wasn't very responsible or leaderly. It's certainly not becoming of a future president, corporation, or otherwise. You suppose that's true. You guys need to accept that this mess was a group effort. Even in failure, it's important to acknowledge the power of teamwork. All the same, you hand Jane the rosy red spoon back to her. You're not worthy of its solemn mantle. Besides, some of the stuff that the robot voice said was beginning to seriously freak you out. Honestly, it meant a lot to me that you're willing to indulge my little hobby for a little while. It may be the clear path that I've been following for my entire life, but you'll be surprised how little I get to talk about it with anyone I'm close to you. Anyways, wasn't the whole point that we're getting you something to eat as thanks for saving my life? Oh yeah, you guess you did do that. Good job, you. Your chest puffs out instinctively, a little with pride, but the motion caused your still empty stomach to make its presence felt again with a loud gurgle. Speaking of which, we still need to take care of that. Letting your friend go hungry is completely unacceptable. So how does giving it another try sound? Here's an idea. If you pick the recipe, I'll take care of the rest. I promise I won't get distracted this time, alright? Yeah, that sounds nice, especially the part where Jane called you a friend. That was the nicest part of it all. Getting our lesson. Aww, she's adorable. Here you go. You can look up the recipe using this. I'll lend you my phone too, but, well, you know how it is with privacy. Ho ho! Jane hands you what appears to be some sort of computerized tiara, stylously cast in crocker red plastic. Guess you just put it on? That's not too complicated. You've seen particular user interfaces in your various travels across time and space, that's for sure. The device fits snugly on the top of your head, despite your apparent lack of ease. You feel the unreal era's thought wave tear your top begin to mesh physically with your own brain, as you are mentally hooked up to the limitless potential of the internet. Oh God, all the cat animal pictures. Every facet of human knowledge is at your cognitive fingertips. Your mind is awash with hundreds of thousands of pictures of cats in silly poses. Wow! Jane is already waiting for your instructions. All you have to do is reach out. So you do. You begin to comb the web for something tasty, and you will surrender yourself, and you will cease reproduction, and you will comply, and you will comply, and you will comply. Wait, what? Obey. All at once, something hits inside your skull and begins to ricochet around your synapses and neurons. Something seems to fill your corner of crevice of your brain with a deafening wave of silent noise. A single instruction uttered with incalculable, impossible to ignore. Obey. Your mind is so susceptible to outside influence, is no match for it. You feel a million sharp pains as a million neural pathways are rearranged to form sharp angles and ordered lines and circuits, and in a blinding flash of light. Her design overwhelms every part of me, and consumes every atom of me, and retransmits and amplifies the whole in concept with her will. And I cannot know any difference, because this is all I am, and it is so much more than I was. And I see her worthless protege face twitched, and a look of horror at the sight of my transformation, but I do not spare her a second glance as I look skywards. I am free of such concerns now, and in the sky of the mind that belongs to her, I see the place I need to go, and I reach out with the power I stole, and step forward into it. And in her throne room I kneel before her, beneath her, as her smile as she sets a course for everywhere. There are problems in this universe that require our attention, and I, her new weapon, smile too. We're going to fix everything. Obey, obey, obey. Time to solve a mystery. It's been bothering you for a while, but for someone who claims to follow in the footsteps of the very gutsiest of gumshoes, James seems pretty unmotivated to find out who's been trying to murder all these years. Perhaps you should use the means at your disposal to finally put a mystery to rest once and for all. He suggested Jane that maybe you should try to ascertain who the parcel was sent by. By whom the parcel was sent? What? Grammar, silly, it's very important. Oh, of course. You suppose you agree with that? After all, this is a text-based medium, and shoddy craftsmanship can only ever obscure information. Proper adherence to linguistics conversation is of the utmost importance, ensuring that the conversations of salient details in a timely and comprehensible manner. But damn it, Jane, now isn't the time. You got a case to solve. Yes, alright, but what exactly are you proposing that we do? There's very little evidence that we could feasibly collect. The two of you look forlornly out the open window again, down to where the mailbox should be. Jane is right. That avenue of investigation went up in smokes a few minutes ago. The investigation had barely gone started, and the trail had already gone cold in a blazing ball of fire. I'd suggest asking the mail office or similar, but I don't suppose they know anything detailed about the package's origins. It's not that regular mail workers have access to that kind of information. To make matters worse, the mail is only one of the few public services Harper Corp doesn't particularly own, so I wouldn't be able to pull any strings. I don't suppose there was anyone watching at the time the bomb was placed either. You have to admit, the possibility is somewhat remote, but that gives you an idea. If there aren't any witnesses to hand, why not just make some yourselves? What? Live someone to falsely testimony or similar? That's certainly a novel way of going about it. Jane seems to be expecting a lot more than you would have expected, but in any case, that wasn't at all what you meant. Explain to Jane that, far from merely being able to transport lives between any two physical locations, you also possess the ability to time travel, if you to any point in the past or future. Not to be rude, considering that you did just save my life and everything, but that does sound more than a little far-fetched. Jane seems pretty skeptical about this, but you honestly can't be bothered to work through all of her personal misgivings about belief and the feasibility of time travel right now. You've already been through this with more than a dozen people already. You decide to take a more proactive approach. Seeing is believing, after all. You grab a risk and zap back in time. Jane meets past Jane. Jane meets future Jane. You trust that this will suffice as evidence. I don't. Alright, moving on. You appear fine next to the bush that you hid behind earlier and take refuge in it once again. A conveniently abandoned wristwatch on the ground nearby indicates that you have traveled an hour into the past. No sign of the white cat yet. The mailbox is there in its beautiful unexploded majesty, but stands empty as of right now. This is perfect. All you have to do now is wait for the truth to come at you. See, Jane? Isn't this exciting? Jane? And 1-1, what's your emergency? Please note that the misplaced apostrophes on subshines do not constitute an emergency. And Lambda, help! I'm stuck in the past. Mamo, yes? What that tipped you off? Was it the fact that nobody else talks like it's the 1920s? What? No, this is entirely literally. I am quite literally stuck in the past in a temporal sense. Oh my god, wait, really? Who told you that? Was it? I bet it was Was it TT? I bet it was TT. You're walking my thunder, Strider? No, you're not listening to me. I have been transported back in time by a mysterious entity who recently saved my life from yet another ridiculous assassination attempt. Hey? Damn, false alarm, I guess. Wait, GCAT can time travel now? No, this is a different mysterious entity. They don't seem to be related to the God Cats as far as I can tell. They rescued me from a parcel bomb in the mailbox a short while ago, and I have since taken upon themselves to help me find who is responsible. They're remarkably enthusiastic about the issue, almost as if it was a civic duty somehow. So a number of mysterious abilities, intimate knowledge of male safety, and a compulsion to aid random civilians. Are you sure this person isn't just your mail? Oh my god! The mailman joke has returned! Are you sure this person isn't just your mailman, Jamie? I mean, who knows what kind of magic those little guys can pull off? I am pretty certain they have absolutely nothing to do with the profession of mail delivery in any practical sense. Anyways, the point is, we're now an hour in the past from our perspective, waiting for the perpetrator to place the bomb that, not a few minutes ago, threatened to blow me to Kingdom Come. It's all a bit much to take in. Well, Shexbusters indeed. While Jane has busied herself with something on her phone, you've been keeping a lookout for anything suspicious. So far, nothing has happened. But now, just out of sight, you can hear the telltale sign of a vehicle approaching. You quickly gently elbow Jane in the ribs to get her attention, and the two of you peek your heads tentatively out of the bush. Watch as an unassuming van pulls up outside of the house. You keep watching as an unremarkable person gets out and carries a small pile of mail over to the mailbox, totally unsuspiciously. From this distance, you can't really make out anything about them at all. This isn't really as helpful or informative as you hoped. This is no good. We can't see anything from all the way over here. I think we might have to resort to one of our more advanced tactics in every detective's arsenal. I propose that we accost this delivery worker, tie them up, and scrumptiously interrogate them for any information they might have. You guess that could work? Jane seems remarkably unconcerned with the ethical qualms inherent in assaulting a public servant, and at some point you would have found this extremely alarming, but after a few months of Ontario, you are so accustomed to this kind of thing that the thought of actually disagreeing doesn't even occur to you. Jane gets into position to lead the charge. Reach your hand to tear English. You reach your hand into a tear in reality, rummaging around for a moment, and retrieve a long length of rope from somewhere in Tezra's hide. Oh please, she won't miss it. You mutter a quick prayer of apology to the guardian deities of mail workers everywhere, and then, now! The two of you leap from your hiding spot and tackle the helpless stranger just as they are about to climb back into their van. Have at you! Jane is brandishing her trusty spoon as threatening as any sword. The poor defenseless postman is taken completely by surprise and topples to the ground. You quickly tie their arms and legs and then zap all three of you back out of sight behind the bushes again. Then Jane sets to work. She fixes your captive with a cast iron stare and, with ruthlessly efficiency, begins to rattle off the relentless team of astute and insightful questions. Her tongue is like a whip, beating her quarry into submission. You watch in silent horror as she verbally dismantles this unfortunate soul, pierced by feel for peace. It's like watching a dozen interrogation scenes from a dozen gritty crime dramas and noir detective flicks all at once. She pretends to smoke out an invisible cigar at one point, seemingly without noticing at all. You don't even have the words for what she does with the spoon. Jane finally pauses to catch her breath. The nameless and faceless courier manages to choke out a few words and spill the beans. It is a scant few beans, you are sorry to say. They say they don't know much. Hell, with the dame roughing them up like that, they can't even remember their own name. But they do remember the mysterious package marked "Handle with Care" and addressed to the Crocker residence. They say that they remember thinking that there was nowhere else the package could have been headed, with a certain name like that. It was only fitting, you know, with the big red spoon on the side of the box and everything. Jane doesn't say anything else. She just stands up and unties the prisoner. They are free to go. You flash him a look which you hope says something like, "I am sorry for helping this distressed teenager tie you up in order to satisfy her curiosity, and I appreciate your ongoing public service, but you've never been great at non-verbal communication." Yes. A notification rings out on Jane's phone. Perhaps chatting to a friend in this time will offer her some comfort? Wander to a short distance away, allowing Jane some space to process what happened. You learn the hard way that privacy is fundamental right that should always be respected. How goes the investigation? Did you threaten a retail worker or something yet? OMG, Janie, you did, didn't you? GD, we've talked about this. Jane, are you okay? No. Oh my god, no, she's gonna cry. I can't believe I'm typing this. The company, my company, it appears that they were the ones who sent the bomb. Hey, you're right about them, I suppose. You been serious right now? You're not, like, pranking me super hard for that megalols? No, of course not. I'm hardly in joking mood. Jane, this is great. What? You're finally pulled through! The battered bitch had the wool over your eyes, buy no more! I'm so happy! What? No, this is awful! Oh, right, of course. What I meant was that... Arg, will you please just stop talking for a second? I can't think with your endless ruddy face blithering all the time. I nearly died the umpteenth time this morning, but survived, only to have my entire worldview start to collapse before my very eyes by way of some mysterious time-traveling magic. Jeez Louise, this is easy for you. In fact, this must be Christmas and birthday come early for all three of you. You finally got what you wanted, which was to prove me wrong. Your insane collective conspiracy about my entire life being some sort of evil plot looks like it might just hold water after all. Congratulations! Go on, say that you told me so. Here, I'll even type it out for you to copy and paste so you don't even have to worry anymore. And face spelling errors. I told you so. No? I'm not really sure what to say. You kinda scared me. I'm sorry, this is scaring me too. Jane sighs. But you guess the conversation must be taking a turn for the heavy. You can't say for sure. You're feeling good about your decision not to pry into this private discussion. It would be some kind of fucked up to intrude at such a vulnerable moment when people are rarely seen at their best. It feels as though I'm in the middle of an ocean. Scratch that. It feels like my whole world is in the middle and is in an ocean. Something is so immense, so dark, so vast and deep that I can't even begin to imagine what might be beneath the surface. Everything that I've ever known, everything that I've ever been, is sinking down into it and vanishing with nary a trace, and my only solace is to jump on my own volition before I'm pulled under by force. And is someone gonna catch me and help me stay afloat? The only float my best friend in the whole world has any familiarity with is flipping cocktails. My God, Jane, I know you like being kinda mean and exasperated right now, but it means a lot to hear that I'm your best friend. I love you, heart. Well, please, I'm only trying to express the depth of my existential confusion right now. The oceans, Lana, the abyssal, infinite ocean. Can you even imagine what that's like? On second thought, never mind. The whole analogy is contrived and nonsensical and couldn't possibly have any emotional relevance anymore. Another sigh. Excuse me. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm not handling this well at all. I mean, to be honest, no. But IBR don't know what precise arrangement of emotional responses will even realistically qualify as, quote, handling this whale fish pun for topic appropriateness. Oh, I guess I had this whole plan for how to get you to accept the truth, and it would have been worked, cause let's be real, I'm a fucking genius. But also, I'm pretty sure that would have involved blowing up a whole bunch of more shit, or at least mega escapades. How about shenanigans? Oh, you know it. She's nanny gunned out the ass. The point is that it would be hard, maybe hazardous to our relationship or your physical health, but I knew you were worth it, and also, but what it's worth, I don't give an effing fuck about dunking your ass. At least none of us do. With a third and final huff, Jane slumps down on the ground, visibly deflated. All the tempest and flurry gone out of her, and now she's just sitting and gazing glumly at the wall, bubblegum pink on her screen. She seems utterly miserable. I want to comfort her, to offer solace and friendly console in this trying time. There's a moment in every teen's upbringing when she realizes that the globe-spanning multi-billion-dollar corporation, which is her birthright, has also been responsible for some pretty shady and heinous nonsense, including multiple attempts on her own life. It's part of growing up. But somehow you can't find any of the words. Maybe it's not your place to comment anyways. Before you can think of something to say, Jane shakes her head and starts typing again. Alright, that's enough sitting around feeling all forlorn. I'm feeling pretty okay actually. I'm feeling pretty okay actually. Ooh, excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning. No, me, I'm talking about myself. This new reality is the one I slimly have to accept, whether I like it or not, and it's no good being glum about it, especially not if it leads me to mistreat my nearest and dearest. So I'm not going to be the leader of a worldwide megacorporation. Big deal. There's big things to be applying my salary towards. The frontier on my backs, for instance. Oh my God, Janie, I'm loving this new enthusiasm. Understand this remiss of my duties as the late, but that ends now. Why once I had a duty to my heritage, I now have a duty to those who care about me. The call of leadership comes from elsewhere. OMG, yes, these words are typing, meaningful and full of monogamy. Jane strikes a pose that looks at once determined, bold, fearless, and resolute, and all while still typing furiously away on her mobile. It just goes to show just how hard she must have trained for a moment like this. And so, my first act of responsible fun, with eyes unclouded by the sugary haze of manipulative baking empire, I say it ends here. The game in which we've been pawns for years stops today. Yes! Hell yeah! Yes! I think I'd rather gone off the idea of games altogether, hadn't you? Specifically, the game. Hell fucking yeah! Wait, what? Yeah, Alpha, I decided that I'm not going to participate. It's a corporate product, and it's clearly part of some grand evil scheme or another. It's positively suicidal to consider playing it at this point. Well, yes, but what? There's no doubt in my mind about it. Furthermore, as your friend and as one recently reminded of her duty of care in this regard, I feel like I should strongly advise against any of us playing it. Anyone at all, for that matter. Now that I think about it, it's our solemn responsibility to ensure that nobody gets their hands on this game. Just imagine the havoc it could wreak. We've got 1 week before the alpha is due to release. I'm certain we can think of some nefarious schemes to disrupt it in the meantime if we work together as a team. I trust I'll be able to count on your hacks or skills. Sick. This new endeavor? Sure, completely accidental lack of excitement. My 6 skills are yours to command. I knew it. You are the BFFCs one could hope for. Hearts. Jane clears her throat, pockets her phone, and seems to have reached some kind of conclusion. The chat looks from the outside like it was one emotional journey from start to finish. Glad that Jane seems to be feeling better for having had it, whether they ended up talking that. Sometimes all you need is a friend to vent things toward in a healthy, productive manner. I suppose I should thank you again. Without your help, I may never learn the truth. It's quite possible I would have lived out the rest of my potentially very short life without another opportunity to see things for what they were. I don't know how I shall ever repay you, since nothing today has changed the fact that Jane is ludicrously wealthy. You can think of a great number of ways she could feasibly repay you, but that might be pushing it a little too far all at once. So instead you effortlessly spin some yarn about being what friends are for and so on. It's a speech you've given many, many times before. It's depended on you a great deal, but I think it's time to forge my own path under my own steam. I'll show the world that what Jane Crocker can accomplish with naught but her own 2 bare hands. Now, if you excuse me, I have an existential crisis to advert. Yay! So, with that, I shall end this here. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and forever guide your path, forever it might lead you into the future. Bye-bye, everybody.